Who said Zoom court can't be fun? Well, I've clipped some great ones for you guys today. If you need a laugh, this one's for you.
So, Ms. Cobbs, do you need an attorney or do you wish to proceed on your own?
I don't really know. Do I need an attorney? Like,
I can't make that decision for you.
I mean, what would an attorney be for? Like,
Okay, so let me just go down the list and I'll make some announcements so I can clarify some things for everyone.
Jade?
And Ron Yarconi.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Yarconi. Mr. Yarconi, you're charged with traffic offenses. You can have an attorney appointed to you, or you can represent yourself. If so, if you're representing yourself, I'll go ahead and allow the state to speak with you directly.
Okay, so I just want to make sure my charges is that I hadn't drove with no insurance, right?
I have following too close, no insurance, and distracted driving.
Okay, I have here a proof that I had insurance, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do to take an attorney or not, because it's...
Oh, hold on. So here's the thing. So following too close, if you wish to take that to trial, you can. If you wish to be represented by an attorney, you may, and I'll appoint one today if you need one. If you have proof that on the date of the offense that you had insurance, when you were stopped, that you actually had insurance, then we can show that to the state, and it may change the outcome of this case. Also, with distracted driving, if you have a hands-free device, either Bluetooth enabled or with a cord, or something where you sit your phone in your car and you don't have to touch it while you're driving, then that that charge will be dismissed.
Well, I was probably guilty at following too close.
Wait now, don't tell me this stuff. What I asked you is, let's go slow, because I don't want you admitting to stuff you don't need to. First, do you need an attorney to represent you?
Yes, I guess.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and assign the attorneys from Lister and Holt to speak with you, and then they'll get the recommendation from the state and they'll discuss that and explain it to you, okay?
All right, today?
Yeah, just in a few minutes. Have a seat for me.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Minor McAllen Brown.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
You may, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Minor McAllen Brown.
He's present in the courtroom, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Brown, come up to the podium for me.
Your Honor, he's represented by Lister and Holt. We do need a breakout room with him.
Okay, so Mr. Brown, just hold up. Then you can wait until the breakout room.
Oh.
Thank you. Halen Dion Bussey. Halen Bussey. Halen Dion Bussey.
State request a bench warrant bond forfeiture.
Bench warrant bond forfeiture granted. Tony Janice Castleberry.
The nigga just got a warrant.
Hello, we can't hear you, and that's not appropriate language. And a warrant will issue if you don't come to court. That is true, but the language is inappropriate. All right, so Tony Castleberry. Tony Janice Castleberry.
State request a bench warrant.
Bench warrant granted. Kentara LaShawn James.
Present in the courtroom.
All right, so Mr. James, or Miss James, I'm sorry, give me a moment and then we'll set up a breakout room with Lister and Holt. Which of the attorneys has Miss James's case?
That is myself, Your Honor, Ms. Statlander.
Okay. All right, so Ms. Statlander will arrange that. Lewis, Carlton Lewis.
He's present in the courtroom. He's coming up.
All right, Mr. Okay, she's back. Ms. Porter.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your attorney indicated you're ready to proceed, all right? Raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
True. Yes, ma'am.
Now, you can put your hand down there. We're having video hearings because of COVID-19. Do you still wish to have a hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
You're before the court on 2019 CR 11365, State of Georgia for versus Cambrisha Charday Porter. You're charged with criminal trespass, and you wish to enter a plea. What's her plea again? I'm sorry, Ms. Cook.
Nolo, Your Honor.
You wish to enter a plea of nolo or no contest. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And Ms. Porter, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively affect your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. Factual basis, please.
Your Honor, on November 21st, 2019, officers responded to 628 Fieldstone Parkway, Jonesboro, Georgia, in response to a domestic disturbance. When they arrived, they did speak with Rakeem West, who was determined to be the victim. He advised that Ms. Porter did take his cell phone while he was in the shower into another room of the home. She locked herself in that particular room and would not return the phone after he demanded that she give him the phone back. She was attempting to go through the phone. When she did come out of the room, the phone was damaged. During the officer's investigation, he did observe the damage to the phone. Miss Porter did deny breaking the phone. However, based on the officer's investigation, he did determine Miss Porter to be in violation or charging her with criminal trespass. The cell phone was an Apple iPhone 8 Plus. The state's recommendation is credit for time served, and the victim is requesting restitution. And Ms. Porter is also eligible for a nolo plea.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Porter, I'm going to accept your nolo plea. Ms. Cook, your thoughts on the restitution hearing? Does she need to have a hearing, or is she willing to go ahead and pay an amount?
Well, Your Honor, we are wanting to hear from the state once they talk to the victim to see what that amount is, and if it is, and at that point, we, depending on that amount, we'll probably be asking for a restitution hearing. If it.
All right. So let's go ahead and set set a hearing date. Ms. Val, can you give me a hearing date where she can be on one of our calendars, so that they'll have I guess they'll be able to negotiate that. And if you all can get something set up prior to that, then we may not have to have the hearing.
So you want a future hearing date for a arraignment calendar?
Whatever calendar you think a restitution hearing would fit on, because it's going to be short.
You want to do it next year, or you want to do it this year?
This year, if we can.
Well, we could put it on the 10th. That's our next arraignment calendar.
Is that going to be enough time for you all to speak with the alleged victim in the case?
Our office has reached out to the victim and we're waiting for a reply, Your Honor. I would say the 10th, if we can get it a little further out, just to be sure that we made contact with the victim.
Okay,
well,
we got, go ahead, Ms. Val.
If the 10th don't work, then it will have to be next year, because after the 10th, it's the holidays, and then we have, is it going to be by Zoom? Because
yes, yeah.
Well, Your Honor, we can proceed with the 10th, and if need be,
right, because he could get, we'll do it for the 10th. Okay, so Ms. Cook, Ms. Porter, we'll have, if necessary, if they've heard from the alleged victim in this case and he gives an amount, if necessary, we'll have a hearing on December 10th. And Ms. Porter, essentially the hearing is to determine what amount, if any, the court is going to order for restitution, and your attorney can present evidence on your behalf, either to lessen the amount or to request that no amount be given. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to accept your plea and you'll receive credit for time served. Now, Ms. Porter, just take some advice from an OG. If you think he cheating and you got to go through his phone, then is it worth being in the relationship?
No, ma'am.
Think about it now. I'm just saying, if you end up with charges in a green jumpsuit, that's probably not the relationship you need to be in, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much.
You're welcome, ma'am. We'll see you around the 10th if necessary.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Told you I wasn't finna get no more 10 days. I wasn't finna sit in jail for 5 days. What?
It's gonna be thrown out to go to food.
They already did it. I just got time.
Miss Cook, we can still hear you. I mean, Miss Porter, we can still hear you. It's in the water today. Okay, was that our last case for the 10 o'clock hearing? Was that our last case for the 10 o'clock hearing? We didn't have anything else, did we?
I believe that was it.
Oh my goodness, thank you, because I don't know. All righty,
And do we
11
need to-
o'clock.
do we need to reset everybody else for the day because, woo.
That's a lot. Okay, for those of you who are here or arriving for the 11 a.m. hearing, we're going to get started in a minute. I just want to make sure that if there's anyone here who may need the assistance of a Spanish interpreter, that we go ahead and make that announcement. So, Ms. Bermudez, if you wish to make your announcement. We have an announcement on Mr. Mapson.
Yes, Your Honor. At this point, we would be pleading not guilty as well.
All right. All right, so Mr. Mapson, just remember that you got this license suspension pending. You don't want to get a third one in 5 years. I promise you, you don't want that. I'm sure Ms. Statlander has explained that the fine goes up and then they ask for 10 days in jail. So you do not want that. Do not drive on a suspended license, sir. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, make whatever arrangements you got to make. You might have to buddy up with that dude that you don't really like that much, but he lived 3 blocks from you to get to work. Whatever arrangements you can make, all right?
I do landscape work. Have a great day.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Ms. Statlander, you've given him your information and you have his, correct?
Yes, I got contact information from him.
Okay, great. All right. So let me see. Is there anything outstanding? We still have anybody else? Ms. Porter. You have an announcement for Ms. Porter?
No, Your Honor, I did not. I was actually sending Ms. Muhammad a message.
Oh, okay. All right. But you did get to speak with Ms. Porter, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
She's still in the breakout room. I got to go back and speak with her.
All right. So once we get Ms. Porter's announcement, I think we'll be finished with all of the cases for this calendar. Miss Val, were you able to reach Attorney Wood or his office regarding Galindo Mendoza?
No, I wasn't able to reach them. I mean, I left a message, but let me call again. Stand by.
Judge Tammi,
Yes, sir.
have you called Marquise Adams?
Let me, no, you know what, Mr. Adams, you're on the 11 o'clock.
Okay, I must be early. I do apologize.
That's okay. Don't apologize for being early now. That's a good thing.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you just hold on. If you mute your phone, you can still hear us, but then we won't, you can talk and we won't hear what you're saying. And then when it's time for you to come back on, we'll go ahead and bring you in, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. All right.
Oh, you got a cool she black too.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are coming on for the 11 o'clock hearing, just hold on a second. We're just finishing up the 10 o'clock hearing, and we just had a couple of announcements to take. And if you sit tight, I'm going to make the announcement at around 11:02 to give you all of the information you're going to need for us to proceed successfully through this calendar. And if you're here already, thank you for being early. Ms. Cook, I'll just wait for your announcement on Ms. Porter, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we're back from the breakout room. Thank you for the time. I do have two announcements on Mr. McCray. He wants to plead not guilty. At this point, it sounds like he may want to handle them together at a future date.
Okay.
And on Ms. Pierce, we're actually going to file a plea and bar. We believe that the accusation was filed outside of the statute of limitations prior to the pandemic.
All right. Okay, so once y'all get that signed, we'll set it up for a hearing, okay?
Yes, sir.
Judge Hayward, I'm sorry, somebody can go back?
Yes. McCray, Pierce.
Okay.
Are we ready on Rampy? How about Williams? So we need Rampy first and then Williams.
Okay.
And Your Honor, Mr. Rampy is admitting to the violations.
Raise your right hand for me, Mr. Rampy.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Now, sir, we're having hearings because of COVID-19 by video. So do you still wish to have a video hearing in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
You're represented by attorney Kate Statlander, and she's on the video also. So you're before the court on a petition for revocation of probation, State of Georgia versus Charles Raymond Rampy III, case 2020 CR 01425. And you were before this court on February 17th of 2020. Sentenced to 12 months on probation. You have 2 months and 29 days remaining. And we did toll the sentence, which means we stopped the sentence from running because we were unable to locate you for a period of time. Okay, it says that you failed to report to probation on September 15th, and you were supposed to report by mail, September 15th, October 15th, November 6th, and you last reported on August 12th of 2020 by phone. Says that you failed to pay as instructed and you're currently $880 in arrears. My understanding is from your attorney that you're admitting to these technical violations. Mr. Austin, what is your recommendation in this case?
It is 10 days to serve, credit back since November 23rd of 2020, and close this case out.
All right, Ms. Statlander.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor. That is our understanding of what probation would be asking for.
All right, so Mr. Rampy, I'm going to accept the recommendation of probation. I'll revoke 10 days and give you credit since November 23rd. Once you've served the 10 days, then this case will be closed, okay?
Yes, ma'am. That means there's no probation or nothing?
And not after that, no. After you've finished your 10 days, then your case will be closed, no further probation.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir.
Good. I'm good. Okay.
Judge Hayward, he's good to go back?
Yes, he is.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Austin.
You said Mr. Williams is next?
Yes.
One moment.
All right. Knox, who do you have left?
That will be all.
Okay, good. I was hoping we were on the same page.
Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, that's going to be a guilty plea to count 1.
Don't lean on me.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, ma'am.
raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony that you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right. So you're represented by attorney Kate Statlander. She's here on the video call. So we're doing hearings by video because of COVID-19. Do you still wish to go forward with your hearing by video?
Yes.
All right. Now, you could, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Justin Juan Williams, 2020 CR 07092 for simple battery, family violence, and simple battery. You're entering a plea of, I'm sorry, what is it again, Ms. Statlander?
Maybe a guilty plea to count 1, Your Honor.
Okay, you're entering a plea of guilty to count 1. Sir, you could enter a plea of not guilty and have a trial by jury or judge. Maximum penalty, if you were convicted, could be up to 12 months in jail, $1,000 fine, or both per offense. But it's my understanding that Ms. Statlander has spoken with the state, Ms. Muhammad, and they have agreed to a recommendation for the court on your sentencing. By entering a plea of guilty, sir, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, factual basis, please.
Your Honor, on June 30th, 2020, officers were dispatched to 112 Avalon Way in response to a domestic disturbance. When they arrived, they did speak with the victim, Benita Johnson, who is the mother of the defendant. She advised that after asking the defendant to clean his room, he became irate and they got into a verbal altercation that escalated to the defendant pushing her. The officers did speak with the defendant. He did confirm that his mother woke him out of his sleep and began yelling. He became upset and he did push the victim. At that time, he was placed under arrest and charged with simple battery family violence. The state's recommendation is a 12 months, 60 hours of the balance suspended with 60 hours of community service and no violent or harassing contact with the victim. And that's to count 1. Count 2 will be merged with count 1.
All right, Ms. Statlander.
That is my understanding of the recommendation, Your Honor. I did convey that to Mr. Williams as well, so we just ask that you accept it as negotiated.
Mr. Williams, how old are you, sir?
21.
How old?
21.
Okay, so Mr. Williams, you can put your mask back up. So sir, you should really be in your own house, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, because if you're gonna lay up at your mama's house, her rules go, right? Like if it's your house, you make the rules. If it's your mama's house, she makes the rules, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I have, as a child living in my mama's house, if she woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning and said I didn't do those dishes, and to get up and do those dishes, I had to get up and do those dishes. So sir, are you prepared to live on your own?
Yes, ma'am.
To pay your rent and insurance and all of those things?
Yes, ma'am.
You got a place to go?
Yes, ma'am. Hopefully.
Where you going?
Once I get out, I'm planning to seek some type of housing.
From who? They giving out to people, just giving away houses?
Not that I know of, no, ma'am.
Oh, because I mean, you sound like you have a place to go. Because see, here's the thing. As a mama of sons, the last thing I want to do is burden another mama by putting somebody disrespectful back in their house. Because see, if you're going to live up in my house and you're not paying all of the mortgage, then I make the rules. And if the rule is you clean up your nasty room, then you get up when I tell you and clean up that nasty room, or you get out and live on your own because you are grown. So technically, you shouldn't even be there. After 18, she should have sat you down and said, listen, you turning 18 tomorrow, sir. And I love you, but you can't live here. You can go to school. You can go to the military. You can go get a job somewhere. You can go sleep on somebody else's floor, but you can't live here, sir. See, every successful person I know, their parent has sat them down and told them, you finished high school, I'm finished. I'll help you and support you in all of your endeavors, but you got to make a choice. You're not going to live in my house. Because see, grown people can't live in other grown people's houses. And as long as you're living in your mama's house, you're not grown, sir. I'm sorry. You might be 21 in the street, but you still her child when you're in that house and she's paying the bills. So if she tells you get up and clean up your room, you might want to get up and clean up your room and try not to grumble loud enough for her to hear you. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you're not grown as long as your parent is subsidizing any portion of your living. You're not grown. If she's still putting a roof over your head, you're not grown. If she's still paying for something you need, you're not grown. If you're using her car, you're not grown. So you don't get to act like a grown up and bow up at your mama. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Because see, I don't know if I'm clear. I don't know if you hear me. If your mama put your butt out, you probably would hear me better because it's cold today. Now you got a friend who gonna let you come stay at their house once you disrespect your mama? You got some girlfriend who gonna let you lay up at her house because you disrespected your mama? Okay, so think about that the next time your mama say clean up. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to accept your plea of guilty. To count one, count two will merge. I'll send you the 12 months credit for time served. The balance will be the balance of the, since you, whatever time you serve, the balance will be suspended as long as, the balance will be probated for you to do 60 hours of community service. Now, let me explain something. We know COVID is here. So the probation department is trying to be as flexible as they can, and they're doing all that they can to make sure that you can do community service even in the midst of COVID. So don't come back to us in 4 months or 5 months or 6 months and say, well, I couldn't do it because of COVID. Well, you'll never know until you check. And that means you're going to consult with your probation officer, make sure that they are aware of what you are doing, ask questions. And if you mess up in any way, or if you need assistance in any way, make sure they know what's going on. Don't just disappear, because the best way to get rearrested is to not do your probation reports. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now you're to have also no violent or harassing contact with Miss Lanita Johnson. But if I was Miss Johnson, I'd put your butt out, because you 21 and you obviously too grown to be sitting up in there cleaning your mama's house like she asked you to. So to me, that says it's time for you to go. I'm just saying, if she were here, this is what I would advise her. Because no child I raise is going to raise their hand up to me. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I just really don't feel like you're feeling me on this, but I bet if you got a taste of that cold air and a night sleeping outside your warm house, you would feel me. You would hear me. So, I'm going to put you on a breakout room with Ms. Thomas. Ms. Thomas is going to explain to you everything you need to know about probation. Ask her any questions you might have, because if you get off this call and you mess up on probation, I know it's not because of Ms. Thomas, because she's real good at what she does. It's because you didn't listen or you didn't ask the right questions. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so hold on a second. I'm going to set up the breakout room. You just stay right where you are, young man.
Don't stand on the wall.
Mr. Reese?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. So, Mr. Reese, you're charged with a limited permit violation. How old are you, sir?
23.
Why you got a limited permit, sir? All right, we're not gonna get into that. Mr. Reese, you are here, and you could let me tell you what the recommendation is from the state, which I'm willing to accept if this is something you want to do. Now, it's 24 hours and credit for time served. So I will assume that you've been in there for more than 24 hours. Is that correct?
Ma'am.
Okay. So if you wish to take this offer, you may. You can be assisted by counsel if you wish to have an attorney to explain anything to you, or you can go forward and represent yourself. The offer's not going to change.
I'll do the first one.
You want an attorney?
Yeah, can you explain that a little bit more though?
Sure. So you would enter a plea. The limited permit violation, I don't know if that, like what points that comes with or anything, but you have, is he NOLO eligible?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so you're not eligible for a NOLO, but it would be, if you wanted to enter a plea, you could do two pleas. One would be a not guilty plea and you go to trial, or the other would be a guilty plea and then we give you credit for time served as the sentence.
Okay, I'll do the guilty.
Okay, and do you need an attorney to represent you or do you wish to represent yourself?
I can represent myself.
Okay, so now raise your right hand. Oh, have I sworn you? No, I haven't. Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony that you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. And sir, do you agree to continue to have a video hearing like we're doing now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you could enter a plea of not guilty, have a trial by jury or judge. Maximum penalty if you were convicted could be up to 12 months in jail, $1,000 fine, or both. But it's my understanding that you have heard and accepted the recommendation of the state. By doing so, you give up the right to to subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself, and to not, you give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And sir, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to accept your plea of guilty. I'll give you credit for time, 24 hours credit for time served. This case will be closed. It is my understanding that you may be here on other charges, but this will not be an open case for you for those other charges, okay? All right. You can go back with the sheriff's office. All right. So I'm going to set up the breakout room, and Miss Statlander, you can speak with Mr. Harper. After we speak with Mr. Harper, then we'll go ahead and I believe what other we have, Justin Williams.
Thank you for watching, everyone. And if you enjoy my clips of Judge Tammy's courtroom, be sure to click that icon up in the top right corner, and it'll take you to the playlist of all my videos for her. See you soon.